So please, 5 to 7 minutes, whatever.
5 to 7 minutes for consumer trends, tough one. All of you are facing a lot of volatility in the commodity markets. All of us are facing it. When it comes to consumer trends also, there is a huge volatility in the trends that we observe. Couple of years back, we had a black swan event. There were a lot of consumer trends that emerged. We saw people stocking up. We saw people going for a lot of immunity-based products. Chyawanprash, honey went through the roof. We looked at kind of recipes people were playing around with at home and so on and so forth. And all of them have died down in 2 years. Now there's a new monster that is facing us, inflation. Having said and used the word inflation and monster in conjunction, the happy part of it is that the consumer confidence index continues to be high in India right now. There are a couple of other such similar measures that RBI releases. They also indicate that India is not looking at cutting down on groceries. While we have mentioned this, there are certain early indicators that we observe. For example, in the rural markets and in the very small towns of this country, the volume growth in the category of food and beverage or in the category, overall category of FMCG is seeing a negative growth right now. So we've already seen certain trends of that happening. Parallel to that, what is also happening is that number of trips to the outlets have increased. And outlay, that means the amount of money we are spending every time we are going to the shop, that has come down. So what is happening in eventuality? People are looking at smaller pack sizes more, and the dependency on the smaller pack sizes are increasing significantly. What is also happening is because you're going to the shop so many more number of times, the proliferation on the variants and flavors and things like that you're picking up has also increased amongst shoppers. Now this is one part of India. The other part of India is actually looking at a premium set of categories are growing significantly. So 41,000, if I look at food and beverage, around 41 to 45,000 crore is premium segment in this country. While I was talking about a negative growth in volume, this part of the industry is growing at almost double-digit growth in this situation. So the K-shaped economy that we call out today is manifested in this kind of behavioral patterns. Now just to give an example, closer to heart, the biscuit business, and you see the premium cookie segment has grown by 11% penetration in this country. Penetration means number of households that the category enters. So the premium end of it has increased by 11%. That's a huge growth in a population like India. Premium cream segment has actually doubled its penetration over a period of 2 years. So these are just reflection of how the premium end of the portfolio of various organizations are growing in this so-called K-shaped economy. Having said that, today people are increasingly looking at value from all of us as brands, which means it's just not discounting. So if you have specialized product solutions, if you have customized product solutions, if you have new textures and flavors, if you have sustainability that you have inbuilt and you're showcasing it at scale, it's not just taking something here, but really walking the path, then people are valuing those. And people are ready to pay a little higher value towards it, or people are moving towards adopting those brands. Whenever it is an angle of uncertainty, we have again and again observed that consumers move towards the larger brands because there is certainty around it. And this is a consolidation angle that will keep happening as and when there is a bit of instability in the overall economy of the country. And we've observed that in big ways when it came during COVID. And this is called the law of double jeopardy, etc. Having mentioned these angles, I'll also like to hint upon a few large food trends amongst consumers that are happening today. So for example, anxiety. Anxiety is cutting across life stages. It's just not that the people who've lost hair like me are too anxious in life today. But the younger audience younger generations are equally anxious, translating into a lot of issues around sleep deprivity and sleep-related issues. And they are looking out for solutions on that side. There is another fundamental shift that is happening in this country. We talk about demographic dividend in this country. But there is an inverted pyramid with this vital agers, which is 50 plus audience, 60 plus audience in this country. Why did I say inverted pyramid? Because the money at hand among them is significantly larger than if you go back a couple of decades. This vital aging audience are not being addressed today at scale by the food businesses, food and beverage businesses. This is becoming an increasing opportunity for us to look at. The other large trend that is happening is going back to roots, and I'm not talking about earthy roots alone. So for example, namkeens as a category, bhujia, mixture, etc., grows significantly higher than any other part of snacking business in this country. And it's a very large industry. And we'll probably talk about that a little later. Similarly in sweets, chocolates is growing, yes, but traditional sweet consumption has increased significantly. Even if you ask people at Swiggy and Zomato, what do people really order? It's primarily Indian traditional sweets followed by ice creams. So going back to roots is becoming critical. You talked about protein, and let me talk a little bit about health as a trend. We have been hearing a lot about health as a trend. Healthy snacking, and off late because of the millet and year of millet of 2023, a lot of conversations happening amongst consumers about millet-based snacks. That's on one side. On the other side, there are two strong verticals that have come up. One is the vertical of protein. Previously, protein was being associated only with people who are building their bodies. And you talked about protein deficient country, right? Protein is now mainstream. People are believing that protein gives you vitality, protein gives you strength, protein gives you energy. This is on one side of that strong vertical of consumer need. The other side of the strong vertical of consumer need is fiber. You talk to consumers today, and in every third sentence you will hear the word fiber. Because digestion as an issue cuts across life stages. So that's becoming another critical angle of, if I may use the word, a trend, which is becoming really a mainstream. Sustainability is a point that I touched upon as a lever of value. And it's just not greenwashing. We have heard a lot of greenwashing done by lots of brands, lots of organizations, etc. Today, people want to see you clean. And when I say clean, it's clean label that becomes important. And in consumer parlance, that means don't give me something which is chemicalish in my food. So for example, sugar, staying away from sugar, and I'm sure many of us in this room have started to reduce sugar intake in some form or the other. But if you say this is a sugar alternative, people think it's a chemical that you have added. But if you say I've added jaggery as an alternate, or I've added honey as an alternate, honey creates polarizations, but jaggery as a solution, it's tough, I know, from a procurement piece and so on and so forth. But that is what consumers are asking for. Give me a natural solution, and don't give me a chemical-based solution here in food. So clean label, when we say it's not organic, it's actually help me with something which does not have chemical in it. Sorry, I think that's a signal for me. I just want to leave behind with just one point, that these are all multiple trends that are happening in this country. Having said that, only 15% of the industry is packaged branded solutions. 85% of the food industry is still unbranded. And to top it, per capita consumption in this country is 1/6 of the developed nations. Or even developing nations, if you compare, we are at least 3x lower than them, 2x lower than them. So there is a huge opportunity for us to look at how the industry is going to grow going forward.